Hola, buenos días.
Hi, good morning. Let's present one of the films that competes in the official section of this 70th edition of the San Sebastian Film Festival, the film Hyakka, 100 Flowers. We have an important part of the crew. The translation is going to be by Daniel Aguilar, who's the Japanese translator at the far end of the table, and I'm going to introduce the leading actress, MIEKO Harada, who's next to me. And would you like to add something? Hi, Donostia. I'm looking forward to seeing how this film will be received and the best film festival of the world. And we also have the presence of the director, GENKI Kawamura, who is also the screenplay writer, and he also adapts his own novel. Welcome.
Very short Spanish. Hola. Buenos días.
Hi, good morning. My name is GENKI Kawamura. Thank you very much, everyone. So let's open up the questions. Otherwise, I'll ask a question. I'm not too sure anyone wants to ask an initial question. Yes, just there.
Congratulations for the film. Very beautiful. Just a question. Why did the mother abandon the child? The only thing I know. Why?
Serious question.
It's dangling out there. It just doesn't. There's no explanation to it.
Thank you very much for this great film. Please, could you tell us why the mother and the child, what happens with the abandoning?
そうですね。実はこの物語は僕のおばあちゃんのをモデルにしたゆり子という主人公の物語でしてなんですね。まずそこを訳してもらおうかな。
Well, first of all, the idea of the film, I used as a model my own grandmother as a model.
僕のおばあちゃんが7年前に認知症になって僕のことを忘れてしまったんですね。
My grandmother, 7 years ago, started to suffer Alzheimer, and she stopped recognizing me.
どんどんいろんなことを忘れていく一方で、どっちかというと忘れていくっていうよりは、花がいっぱい咲いていくって印象で、いろんなことをおばあちゃんが思い出していったんですね。
And what I realized is, despite that she had forgotten many things, through the flowers that she saw in different places, she started to remember
それで
things.
この映画のタイトルはまさに百花、100 Flowers っていうんですけど、そのいろんな子供の時の思い出とか、母親になった時の思い出とかの中の一つに、実はそのおばあちゃんが、実は僕の母親を捨てて失踪していた時期がありまして、その思い出が鮮明に記憶を失っていく中で蘇っていく様があって、それが僕にとってすごく衝撃で、それを小説に書いてこの映画にしたという流れです。
And that's why the film also has the title of 100 Flowers, because from these flowers she remembers moments of her childhood, the moments when she got married, and I started to notice these kinds of things because that drew my attention. And within this, what also happened was the situation of the abandonment between the mother and the child. Yes, there's a question. First of all, good morning. when a film leaves me, allows me, makes me reflect a lot upon it, is that I've liked it very much, but very much. And you've managed to do that. Those of that we've had very close, that have seen, in my case as well, Alzheimer very close, we usually say that person dies twice, not only once, but twice. That is to say, when they have Alzheimer, that they don't remember not even who you are, and when they physically die. My question is also for the actress, because to portray that role, it must not have been too easy, but it must have been quite difficult, looking into the void and many, many things that you lose apart from your memory and many other things. I'm sure it must have been quite difficult to portray your character, and the director, you've chosen the actress very, very well in order to portray that role.
じゃあまず素晴らしい作品おめでとうございます。非常に考えさせる作品で、そういう時にやっぱり私が気に入ったものなんだなと感じて、で我々こういう経験した人は、ある意味ではその親が二度と死ぬと。1回目死ぬのはもうアルツハイマーにかかってて、我々のことを忘れる時と、で2回目は実際に亡くなる時と、そこで原田様にお聞きしたいんですけれども、この演技で非常にご苦労されたかと思いますが、現場での演技指導ですとか、どういうものを勉強しながら演技に当たったのかと。
そうですね、私の母がやはり認知症になりまして、それで母を何年間か見ていたことが一番大きかったかなと思うんですけれども、私は母を見ていて、母が自分の体の中で迷子になっているかのように見えて、それがすごく切なかったんですね。でその思いをこの役に投影できたらいいなというふうには思っていました。
Bueno, yo también
tuve la experiencia. I also gone through the experience that my mother had Alzheimer. For many years, I was watching how she behaved, and in a certain way, when portraying my character in this film, I wanted to reproduce everything that I had seen in her.
そして監督はなぜこの役を原田様にと思いになったんですか。
そうですね、原田美恵子という女優は日本の映画界にとってはもう伝説の人で、もちろん黒澤明監督の作品でに出演されていて、いつかずっと自分がもし映画を撮るときは出ていただきたいなと思っていた女優さんで、まずその日本映画の今までの歴史みたいなものを背負った女優さんにこの役をやってほしかったってところが一番大きかったです。
The reason why I chose her to portray this role in Japan, she's a legendary person in the world of acting. She's worked with directors like Akira Kurosawa, and it was quite clear when I wanted to direct a film, I wanted to use her in the film.
ご自身のお母様がアルツハイマー、認知症になられた時に、ご自身でカメラを持ってお母様の姿を撮影してドキュメンタリー映画を撮られているんですね。でそこまでつぶさに母親、認知症になった母親と向き合っていた方ならば、非常にリアルに自分事として演じていただけるんじゃないかと思ったのが大きいです。
And the second reason is that she, MIEKO Harada, when her mother was ill with Alzheimer, with a home video camera, she filmed several scenes as regards to how she behaved. So therefore, when I heard about this story, I thought she was the ideal person to portray this woman on the screen. I think there's part of the question which was ask the actress how difficult it was to portray the role.
お聞きしたいんですけれども、この役に向き合って、で先ほどなるべく自分のお母様と同じ行動をしようと思ったんですけれども、でどういうところをご苦労されたのでしょうか。
一番大変だったのはですね、監督がこの作品は全部のシーンをワンシーンワンカットで撮りたいと言ったことですね。それで俳優にとってはワンシーンワンカットっていうのは割とやりやすいんですけど、なんて感情が途切れないのでやりやすいんですが、全編となるとやっぱりすごくエネルギーを必要としました。
Well, for me, the most difficult thing is that the director had the idea that all of the scenes had to be filmed with only one long take without making any cuts. So therefore, in all the films, you've got these types of scenes. When all the scenes are like this, the truth is you've got to use a lot of energy in order to portray your role. There's a question up here. Hi, I've got a couple of questions, one for the director and another for the actress. For the director, you set up a sort of a parallel relation between the forget caused by the illness and the forgetfulness, how the son forgets those fireworks, half fireworks. I would like you to talk about this, and the actress, and I would like to ask her, I know that it's not about this film. What was it like to work with Kurosawa?
この映画ではある意味で、2種類の忘却があると思うんですけれども、まず、母親が、おばあちゃんが、自分が認知症のために忘れること、そして、須田将暉さんの役の若い人が自分が認知症というわけではないけどいろんなことを忘れていると。その平行線の話の進み方に関して、説明していただければと思います。
Good question 僕のおばあちゃんが認知症になった時に、僕はどうしてもそれを受け入れることができなくて、おばあちゃんの家に通ってすごく思い出話をずっとしていたんですね。まずそこまで。
It's a very good question. Once again, my own personal experiences come into play. When I used to visit my grandmother, who was already suffering Alzheimer, we talked a lot about the memories of the
最
past.
初におばあちゃんに買ってもらったおもちゃの話になって、僕が最初に赤い車のおもちゃをおばあちゃんに買ってもらったよねって言うと、おばあちゃんはいや私が買ったのは青い飛行機のおもちゃだよって言うんですね。で僕はおばあちゃんやっぱり忘れちゃったんだなと思って、悲しい気持ちになって家に帰ってアルバムを見たら、僕は青い飛行機のおもちゃを持ってニコニコしてるわけです。つまり僕もすごくいろんなことを忘れてるということに気づかされて、それはこの物語の原点となりました。
For example, when we started to talk, what was the first toy that my grandmother bought me? And I said, Grandmother, the first toy that you bought me was this red car. Is that right? She said, No, you're mistaken. It was a blue plane. And I thought, well, my grandmother is forgetting things. And then I went home and I started to look at the photo albums, and I saw that the truth was that the first thing that she'd bought me was a blue plane. And that's when I was aware of the fact that not only my mother, but my grandmother, but also myself, I was forgetting things as well.
あとすみません、原田様には先ほど同じ方なんですけれども、今回の映画と、関係ない質問で申し訳ないんですが、黒澤監督との仕事はいかがだったんでしょうかと。
そうですね、もう本当に何といっても緊張感が一番すごくて、でもなんていうんですかね、30年経ってももっとだ、こんなに時間経ってもその昨日のことのように全部のことを思い出せる、すごく強烈な思い出です。でもそのみんなで一つのものを作り上げる大変さと喜びを教えてくれた方です。
Bueno, en aquel momento,
Well, at
la
that time,
impresión
the
que más
impression
teníamos era la
that I
sensación
most
de
had was the
tensión
feeling
por
of
lo que había
continuous
delante de ese
tension
rodaje.
that
Te
was
sentías
during the
muy
shoot. You
presionado.
feel very
Pero
under
quizá por
pressure,
eso,
but
aunque hayan
perhaps because
pasado
of
ya
that,
más de
albeit
30
more than
años, que
30 years
todavía
have gone
no
by,
se me ha olvidado
I
aquella
still have not
experiencia.
forgotten
Lo
that
más
experience. The
importante
most
quizá que
important
de ello
thing that
fue
I
que
drew from that
aprendí
was that
cómo
I learned
con el esfuerzo
that with
de
an
todos
enormous
se
amount
puede
of
realizar
effort of
finalmente un
everyone,
buen
at the end of the
producto.
day, you can achieve a very good result.
監督作品だったんですけど、撮影中にちょっとワンシーンワンカットとかで結構タフな状況になったりすると、たまに原田さんが黒沢さんの時はねってつぶやかれるんですね。もうそんなプレッシャーあるかと思ったのはすごい思い出します。
そうですか。忘れました。
Cuando estábamos
When
filmando
we
y
were
había una
filming
escena un
and there was
poco
a
dura, un
scene
poco
which is a bit
difícil de
tough or
filmar,
difficult to film,
yo sentía mucha
I
presión
felt a lot of
porque
pressure because
Harada-san en aquel momento
Harada
decía, bueno, en el caso de
said, well,
Kurosawa,
okay, in the
esto
case of
hubiera sido así,
Kurosawa, this would have been this way and this would have been the other way, or would have been done differently.
Bueno, primero,
First of all, congratulations for your marvelous film. I've got a couple of questions. One, they're very related. One for the Kawamura, the director, and the other one for the actress MIEKO Harada. As regards the director Kawamura, I would like to ask you the question highlights because of the force, the strength of the images and the poetic side. Why did you choose the DOP, who's very young and he's very talented, of other more experienced DOPs? Why did you choose them? And for MIEKO Harada, as regards to youth, how was it to work with the new generations, like director Kawamura and the main actor, which is a pity he couldn't be here, Masaki Suda? Thank you.
またお二人にそれぞれの質問なんですけれども、まず監督に、前編にわたってすごいリリカルな雰囲気があると思いますが、そこで、撮影監督の役割は大きいと思いますが、なぜこの撮影監督を選ばれたんですか？
認知症という現象とか記憶というものを撮影するときに、実際僕のおばあちゃんがそうだったんですけど、3分間ぐらいの間で天気模様が空が晴れたり曇ったりするかのように変わっていくんですね。ちゃんとしていたと思ったら全部忘れちゃったような感じもあって、またちゃんとしたように戻ってくるって、これをなんか空が変わるような様をワンカットの中で撮りたいってなった時に、ある種弥足寺賢治的な長回しで、かつ、ある種移動撮影というところで、今村圭介という、当時2歳の若いカメラマンにひたすら人物を追ってもらうという手法をまず選択しています。
Well, when I had these experiences with my grandmother, I realized that in a short period of time, like 3 minutes, she would change completely. It seemed that she was okay, and the next minute she was ill. And I wanted to compare this with the way in which the aspect, the sky changes. Sometimes it's cloudy, and all of a sudden the sun comes out. So therefore, when trying to convey these types of feelings in images, I chose the figure of long takes, like directors like Kenshi Mizoguchi used to carry it out, and I explained these issues to the DOP, Magura Kishke, and the first thing was to shoot a lot of shots just with the characters with no background.
もう一個は4年前に短編映画でカンヌのコンペティションに行ったんですけれども、その時にある種頭の働きみたいなことを映像化するという手法で短編を撮ったんですね。で今回もその記憶を表現するにあたって、ある種僕たちの人生には、カットがかからないわけですね。ワンカットで生きてるわけですけれども、今こうやって僕は記者会見で緊張しながら喋りながらも、昨日の夜食べた生ハモンセラーノのことを急に思い出したりしてて、頭はでたらめに働くんですね。だからワンシーンワンカットで撮りつつも記憶がある種でたらめに入ってくるという脳の働きみたいなことを映像化するために、そういう撮影手法を採用しています。
Plus, 4 years ago, in a short film that we presented in Cannes, at the film festival in Cannes, in that production I tried, a certain way to put in images an equivalent of how our brain works. Our brain doesn't stop at any time, and at present, while I'm here, very nervous, trying to speak in the press conference, I'm thinking about the ham that I ate last night, and it's always a long, continuous long take, albeit we mix a lot of things at the same time. That's why when shooting this film, I chose this way of shooting it?
原田さんにはもう一つなんですけれども、ご自分は昔黒澤監督などと、仕事されて、で今回は、新世代の、監督などに囲まれて、どういうお気持ちだったんでしょうか。
そうですね、最初はワンシーンワンカットっていうね撮りたいということに対してスタイルにすごくこだわってるのかなって私は思っちゃって最初のうちはうまくいかなかったんですけれども、何を撮りたいのかわからなくなっちゃってよくそれで監督と話をしたんですけど、話をした時に監督が私が思っているその OK カットよりもさらに奥にあるものを奥にある目に見えないものをこう掴もうとしていたっていうことが分かったんですね。でその時から監督を信じてもいいんだなというふうに思いました。
Well, the first time when I talked with the director of how I was going to make the film and what was my role going to be, I felt a bit misconcerted because each scene had to be a very long take. I didn't understand very well what he wanted to do with the film, but when we started to shoot the film, I always thought that a long take had worked very well. He said, no, we've got to go a bit further on. I want you to see in the background what doesn't exist. And then slowly but surely I realized that he gave more importance to the background of the scene than the scene that we were seeing, the scene itself. And then I confided in him and I understood exactly what he wanted to achieve. There's a question here in the back. Hi. First of all, I want to thank you for the film because I thought it was incredible. Specifically, the writing of the script drew my attention. And I'd like to know, when you wrote the novel, the scriptwriter and the director thought it could end up being a film in the future. And how did you approach it differently when you wrote the novel or the script, and take advantage also whether at any time you thought that the film would be animation due to the fact of your professional career as a producer and as an author?
監督さんにこの原作を書かれた時に当初からこれが最終的に映画になるという、つもりだったかどうかと、原作の小説と映画どういうところ違うのと、そしてアニメにしようかというアイディアもあったかどうか。
小説を今まで5作書いていて、この「百花」っていうのは4作目の小説なんですけど、小説を書く時はいつもなるべく映画を普段作っているものですから、なるべく映像にならないものを書こうと思っているんで、映画にするつもりは正直なかったんですね。ただ小説を書いた後に認知症だったおばあちゃんが、亡くなった時に本当にすごいおばあちゃんが見てた世界を映像で見たくなったんですね。おばあちゃんはどうして何個も卵を買ってしまうんだろうとか、どうして迷子になってしまうんだろうっていうのを自分なりに映像にすることで理解したかった。で今回前半にそういうワンカットの中で不思議なつながらないはずの時間とか空間がつながる表現をしているんですけど、そうすることで僕はなんとなく亡くなってしまったおばあちゃんの見てた世界に近づくことができたし、出来上がったのを見て僕はおばあちゃんが見てた世界を見たかったんだなというふうに後から実感したという感じでしょうか。
Well, first of all, I must say that I've written 5 novels, and this is the 4th one, so therefore when I wrote the novel, initially I had no intention of turning it into a film. But what happens is when I was finishing the novel and my grandmother passed away, to a certain extent I thought that if I turned it into a film, I would get much closer to the way my grandmother had of seeing the world. I asked myself why she bought so many dozens of eggs, or why she forgot one thing about one thing and another. I thought more than writing the novel, it would be easier to understand if I turned them into images.
自分の中で溝口健二という監督に対する憧れがあって、なんかその現実と非現実の境目が分からなくなっていく瞬間が「雨月物語」とかに描かれているんですけど、まずそこに対する憧れと、一方でこう自分がティーンエイジャーの頃にミシェル・ゴンドリーとかスパイク・ジョーンズっていうミュージックビデオの中でワンカットの中で不思議なことが起きていく映像を見て育ったんで、なんかそういうものをミックスして日本映画として新しい表現を埋めないかなという気持ちはありました。
After, and I like Kenji Mizoguchi's films a lot, especially I like very much because in many aspects it's not clear what the difference is between what's fiction and real. The true, like the tales of the pale moon, for example, and a lot of musical videos, there was a system of, for example, mixing something in a very long take as well. There's a question here. I liked the film very much, so congratulations. It's very beautiful. And I've also had the experience with Alzheimer because my grandmother had Alzheimer. And I remember how progressively she slowly but surely lost the memory of words and even be able to talk. And at the end, she couldn't speak. But I used to see her at the old person's home and she recognized me and smiled at me. So for me, all the way to the end, she did feel and recognize me to a certain extent. And the experience with the piano, because my grandfather, her husband, played the piano. And the last, what I remember how the leading actress and the piano, albeit she was already losing her memory a little, but what the question I have for you is the following. At the end of the day, it's a film about the day-to-day. But especially Japanese films and Eastern films, Oriental films, for example, they transmit completely different. They have another sensitivity, especially the day-to-day things, different than to European films, for example. More containment and more sensitivity is what is portrayed, because that's in your culture. Could you please talk about why we, people from the Western world, we feel very interested in your culture, in the way you express yourself, and what difference do you see between Japanese culture and European culture?
まず素晴らしい作品ありがとうございます。見ながら自分の経験もいろいろ思い出してて、自分のおばあちゃんもいろんなもの忘れがひどかったけれども、幸い私の顔を忘れたことはなくて、せめての助かりだと思ったんですが、ピアノのシーンなどでも自分の経験も、思い出させた。で、日本映画ではやっぱりすごい日常的なものを描いても、西洋の映画よりもセンシティブでもあるし、そして、出しゃばらないと言いましょうか。で、多分そういうところで我々西洋人魅力を感じていると思うんですけれども、なぜ日本映画は西洋でそんなに受けるのかとお思いになりますか？
そうですね、先ほど言ったんですけど、僕たち、日本人ってその、現実と非現実とか、その何でしょうね、そこの境目っていうものをすごく意識して生きているのかなって気がするんですよね。だから夢とうつつって言葉があるんですけど、夢と現実っていうものの狭間にあるものとか、そういうニュアンスを、今回もその非常に描こうとしていて、そこってでも日本人はすごくそこに対して感受性が強いような気がするんですけど、世界中の誰しもが持ってる感覚だとも思うんですね。そこを映像にして捉えて、映画として捉えてるってところが、面白く見てもらえるところなのかなと僕は感じています。
Well, it has a little to do with what I was talking about before. Shall we say the way in which you mix fiction and reality? For us, we Japanese, in a certain way, dreams are also form part of reality. It's not quite clear what the frontiers are between one thing and the other. But I think that to a certain extent this is universal, but perhaps we Japanese, when we turn it into fiction and to turn it into different scenes, perhaps we have a greater sensitivity to combine this mixture between what is real and what's a dream. Perhaps that's where the attraction maybe people have vis-a-vis Japanese films.
原田さんからも答えていただくのがいいんじゃないでしょうか。
Le
私
está
は
preguntando a ella la opinión
He's asking
sobre
her the opinion about she has about this.
どちらかというとセリフが少ない方が好きなんですね。っていうのは映像っていうのは言葉にならないものを映せる道具だなと思うんです。だから本当は人間って言葉にならないものの方が心の中にあるものの方が多いと思うんですけど、言葉になるのは本当に氷山の一角みたいにほんの少しが表面に出ると思うんですけど、その語らないものを感じているっていうことを映すにはっていうかその映像っていうのがすごくいいと思うんですよね、表現として。多分そういうことが映ったのかな。
Well, I also believe as a spectator that the films should have very little dialogue, because the good thing about films is that you can see in images things that we can't express with words, and we have a lot more things in our heart than what we can truly express ourselves. And I think that films, more than dialogues, should focus on reflecting what we normally we couldn't convey in another way. Perhaps Japanese films in this aspect reflect these emotions, invisible emotions, much better, and perhaps that's why they're so popular. Hi, thank you. I'd like to talk about forgiveness and guiltiness and forgetfulness, because with that electronic doll which talks about the future, so we can't really make a human. But could you please talk about those three words and about the connections between the three? If forgetfulness is necessary in order to forgive, and also I would like to ask the actress, what is the yellow color, the coat, the kimono, that color, I imagine it means something.
まず罪の意識と、忘却とか、あと許し、その3つの概念の関連に関してお話ししていただければと思います。そして、原田様には、ずっと和服は黄色という色が重要だと思うんですけれども、その黄色を使うというのが特に意味があったのでしょうかと。順番どっちでもいいんですよ。
衣装の色の選択は全部監督なので、監督に聞いてください。
Well, as regards the color of the kimono and so on and so forth, that's all. Well, the director was in charge of this, so he will answer all the questions.
僕のおばあちゃんが子供たちを捨てて、好きな人のところにいなくなっちゃったっていう、罪をずっと抱えてたんですけど、なんかおばあちゃんが認知症になっていろんなことを忘れていくときに、その時のことをですね、僕に話すんですよね、好きな人と一緒にいた時のこと。でそれはすごい罪悪感があって、きっと僕の母親、つまり娘には話せなかったんだけど、僕のおばあちゃんにとってはすごい大事な、その人を形成している大事な思い出だったのかなという。なんか人間ってだからすごく不便で、いいことばっかりを覚えてるんじゃなくて、いろんな罪の意識とか、なんか失ったものとか後悔とか、そういうものを忘れられないでいて、それがなんか最後花が咲くみたいにおばあちゃんの中で咲いていくのを見て、なんかそこも含めて僕の愛したおばあちゃんなんだなというふうに思えたので、なんかその罪とその許しというか、自分の中で許せるっていうところを、どういうふうに物語にするのかってことを考えながら小説を書いていました。
Well, this is all related to my personal experience. My grandmother was a woman who ran away from home with the man she loved, and she abandoned her children. Although she was incapable of talking about this with her own children or feeling guilt in front of them, in front of me when she talked to me, I was a grandson, she told me all of these things. And so therefore I realized that the feeling of guilt and repent aren't forgotten. And when it comes to a certain moment in time, they open up as if they were flowers, which has to do with the title of the film at the same time.
黄色ですよね。気づいちゃいましたか、まず。気づかないようになるべくリアルにやってたつもりなんですけど。
And as regards to the color yellow of the kimonos, the truth is there was no special meaning for choosing the color.
そうですね。今回その現在と過去と子供時代とっていろんな時間が記憶が交錯しながら進んだ時にある種世界中誰が見ても同じ人物だということを感じられるように色を統一しているということ、あともう一つはちょっとやってみたかったのが記憶の濃淡みたいなものを色の濃淡で表現したかった。つまり過去を生きる百合子というのは非常に濃い黄色を着ているんですけれども、だんだんそれが最後に行くにつれ色が薄まっていって最後はこう白になっていくという、なんかその感覚的に色の濃淡で記憶の濃淡みたいなことを表現できないかなというふうに思ってトライしていることでした。
After, we have to bear in mind that this is a film where we cross the future with the present with the past. So therefore, whoever sees it anywhere in the world can identify that we're talking about the same character. I thought it was very important that she always dressed with the same color, but the tone of this color I associated also to the evolution of the character herself. So when she's younger, the yellow is much more intense, but as she gets older, the yellow is paler and paler, and it ends up being white at the end. There's a question here. Hi, good morning. And just like everyone has said, I want to tell you that I felt very moved by your film, and excuse me because I arrived late to the press conference. Perhaps this question was already asked, but going back to what my colleague was saying as regards to the director of photography, could you please tell us a couple of things? This is the way, the most poetic way I've seen on a screen what the disease is, Alzheimer, like with words, because when you call it metaphorically the stealer of memories, and with images as well, or the burglar of memories, where did the visual conception come of those long takes to reflect what Alzheimer is, always focusing on these close-up long takes? How did that idea come up? Because this is a summary of what the whole film is going to be later on as it evolves.
で、自分がこの記者会見に遅れて申し訳ないが、もしかしたらすでに出てきた質問かもしれないんですけれども、初めて認知症という、題材をこんなに、詩人らしくの描き方で見てて素晴らしい描写だと思います。で、先ほどそのワンシーンワンカットという話も、あったんですけれども、そのワンシーンワンカットの一つ一つの構成を、決めるときにどういうところが重要だったのでしょうか。
はい、そうですね。非常にロジカルにその頭の働きと記憶というものを収めるというコンセプトでやりながらも、一番大事なのはその非常にロジカルに決めた決め事を俳優の肉体とかお芝居ですよねっていうものがなんかこう破壊してこう外に出てくる瞬間をどう作れるかっていうことで、僕のやってたことはそれを待つっていうことでした。テイクも重なりましたし、ただどこか原田さんの中から想像もしなかったような表情とか、こうやって人は物を忘れていくんだ、目の前の愛する息子を忘れるんだっていう瞬間が飛び出すのを、俳優を信じて待つという非常になんでロジカルなところとエモーショナルなところの両極がある、撮影で、 そこの瞬間を収めようとしていたというところがあると思います。
Well, when making up the scenes, you've got the logical side, the side that you think and prepare, and then you have the emotional side of the scene. I thought the best way to work in these types of long takes and long scenes was to allow the actors to come to a certain moment and where they blew up and they express themselves, their own feelings themselves. In this way, what we were filming until an actor all of a sudden, very naturally, showed the expression I was looking for. So therefore we combined the emotional side of things with the part that was prepared beforehand in the scene. Albeit I don't know what the actors thought of this.
Una pregunta.
Just a question.
En la escena
In the scene
hay un terremoto,
when there's an earthquake,
ella sola,
she's on her own, and then the camera follows her where she lived, where everything's destroyed and there's nobody there. I thought it was like a nod to a film, another film. In this case, the pianist, the piano player, the character of the piano player, in the case of that city which is destroyed by the Nazis, and the character is on his own and the camera follows him, which happens in the Second World War. But in this case, in the earthquake, she's on her own, all alone, and everything is destroyed outside. I'm not too sure whether I'm mistaken. Perhaps is not the case. I'm not too sure. Tell me, please, and I repeat, congratulations once again.
もう一回おめでとうございますと、関西の大地震の、シーンの話で聞きたいんですけれども、彼女が一人ぼっちいる時にこの大地震が来て全部破壊されて、で廃墟の間に彼女がさまようというシーンがあるんですが、それは、西洋のピアニストという映画で似たようなシーンがあって、ナチスの、軍隊もう街を破壊してそこも、数学なんかさまようんですが、そういうなんか私の気のせいなのでしょうか、意識されたのでしょうか。
ピアニストすごい大好きな映画です、まず。
Well, first of all, I must say, The Pianist is a film that I like very much.
なんか僕たちは定期的に地震に見舞われるんですね。で、その度にすごい絶望的な気分になるんですけど、一方でなんかこうその瞬間にこうまるで神からあなたにとって大事なものは何なのかを見極めなさいって言われているような気分にもなるんですね。なんであの瞬間に圧倒的なこう自然の力みたいな中でさまよいながら百合子という人が本当に大切なものを見つけるっていうのはすごい僕たちの根源の中にある感覚なんじゃないかなと思ってシーンを描いています。
But I must say that as a Japanese, we're continuously exposed to many earthquakes, and every time one of the large earthquakes take place, we're invaded by a feel of despair and loss. But in a certain way, we feel that God is asking us, truly, what's important for you? What would you like to keep with you? So this is like on the day-to-day, the spirits of the underground were asking this question all the time. And I would like to present on the to portray what is important for the leading actress after this feeling of loss that takes place after every earthquake. We're going to close the press conference now. Sorry, the people that couldn't ask any more questions, but we have this timing and we don't have enough more time. So therefore, thank you very much to the director, GENKI Kawamura, and the actress, MIEKO HARADA, for being here with us today, and my colleague Daniel Aguilar for his translation.
Muchas gracias.